Now we talk about comparison operators. We have seen the basic arithmetic operations like plus, minus, divided by, multiplication, exponentiation, modulo division, so on and so forth in arithmetic operations. Now we'll talk about comparison operators. Now we always compare numbers, right? Age is greater than 23 or count is less than 10. These are all comparison operators. So what are the comparison operators that are available in Python? Let's start with this operator, double equals. Now we have seen a single equals, right? So a equal to 3. A equal to 3 means we are assigning the value 3 to the variable a. This we already know. We are assigning the value 3 to a. Okay. What happens when you say a double equals 3? You could put a gap if you want, but it's essentially the same thing. Shift enter. It says true. Double equals, if you have exposure to Java or C, this should be something that's familiar to you. When you say a equal double equals 3, we are trying to compare if a equals to 3. What is the result of this operation? The result of this operation is either a true or a false. So in this case, for example, a could be equal to 3 or a is not equal to 3. If it is equal, you get a true, which is a Boolean value. Remember, true with a capital T. If it is not, then it returns a false, F with a capital F. That's also a Boolean value. So let's do a quick exercise using this double equals operator. Say we are given a number, right? Let's say the same a. Now your task is to find out if this number is odd or even. How do you do that? So say a percentage 2. What does this do? So how do you define whether a number is odd or even? If it's an even number, you can divide it by 2. That's the mathematical definition of an odd or even number, right? It's not a regular division. It's a modulo division, like with a percentage. So which will give you a reminder. If nothing remains, then it becomes an even number, right? So in this case, a equals 3. When you do a modular division by 2, you get a remainder of 1. And if you get a remainder, if it is not equal to 0, it's an odd number. If it is equal to 0, then it's an even number. So the way we do that is by using the double equals operator and then say 0. Hit enter. This is false because the remainder is not 0 in this case. So a is an odd number. Let's try it with a 4. A equals 4. Shift enter. And now let's try this again. Now this case it's true because the remainder is 0. So this is one simple example of using the double equal to operator. In this example that I am highlighting here, I'm using an if statement. Now I have not covered the if statement yet, but this should be pretty obvious, right? If this particular expression count percentage 2 equals 0. So what this does is it compares if the statement is true or false. If it is true, then this statement in the if block is executed. If it is false, then this statement is not executed. For example, if count is equal to 10, if count percentage 2, meaning if the remainder after dividing it by 2 is 0, which in this case is true, this statement is executed and it says this number is an even number. If not, this statement is not executed, right? So don't worry about that statement, if statement. We'll cover it in the next chapter. All right, what do we have next? We have the not equal to. This is called the not equal to. So this works exactly opposite to the equal to, double equal to. So in this case, say we have a count of 9. We know it's an odd number because we can't divide it by 2. But look at the way we write this statement, this expression. especially focus on this part. Count percentage 2, meaning do a modulo division by 2 and compare it with 0. Now in this case, is it equal to 0? Is the remainder 0? No. Because the remainder is not 0, this is not equal to, then print it as an odd number. Now you could do it the other way also. If count percentage 2 is equal to 0, print it as an even number. So if you combine both these statements, what we have above and what we have down here, then you'll get the entire logic for defining whether a number is odd or even. But again, don't focus on the if statement, just focus on what's inside this block. Alright, so what do we have next? We have the less than or the less than or equal to operator. Just for fun, how do you define a teenager? What's a teenage? So I think teenage starts with 13, right? 12 is not teenage. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So any age between these years is called a teenage. So if you want to define a teenager, given an age, determine if that user is a teenager or not. This could be useful, for example, if you want to give some promotions to a certain age category, say teenagers. Say you have their age and you want to determine if the person or the user is a teenager or not. So let's say the user's age is 16. Is he a teenager? Well, let's say anything less than 20. So after 19 you get a 20, right? So anything less than 20 is a teenager. Let's say you want to define it that way, just for kicks, right? You can say age less than 20. So in this case, 16 is less than 20. So this returns a true value. Okay. Another alternative to it is by saying less than or equals 19. So this means 19 is also included. So 19 is included. So in this case, 20 is excluded. Now you should understand the difference between less than and less than or equal to. So less than operation does not include the number that you're trying to compare with, and less than equals to includes the number that you're trying to compare with. So that is the less than and less than equals operator. And similarly, you have the greater than operator as well. For example, age greater than 19. No, he's not a teenager. Or when you say age greater than 19, if you go 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, when you say age greater than 19, 19 is not included. And if you say age greater than or equal to 20, 20 is included. So anything above 20, he's not a teenager, right? So these are two ways of saying the same thing. Anything above 19, he's not a teenager. And we can quickly try it in the system. So age equals 16, right? So what is age greater than 19? What is the result of it? Is it a true or a false? Age greater than 19. Is the age greater than 19? No, age is 16. So if you run this, you get a false, which is correct. Now if you say age less than 19, execute, it's true because the age 16 is actually less than 19. What if you say age less than 16? You get a true or a false. The number is 16. You're asking the system if this number is less than 16. Now is 16 included or not? That is the question. No, 16 is not included. So when you run this, you get a false. But if you say age less than or equals to 16, in which case this number is also included, if you run this, you get a true. Now you should understand the difference between less than or equal to, greater than or equal to.